Hey, you know I love you too much to keep you the same, right? So, what you're about to hear, it will hurt, but I promise you, it will help. Listen, they didn't leave because you weren't enough. They left because they didn't want you. And I know that's hard to hear. I know it's hard to accept, but you need to because you've been making excuses for someone who already made their decision, who already made their choice. And deep down, I get it. You've been hoping they'd come back to fix what they broke, but they left because they didn't want to grow. Hard truth to accept, but it's true. They left because they didn't want to try. They left because it was easier to move on than it was to man up or woman up. They left because they were selfish. And you know what you did? You kept blaming yourself for their actions. They didn't walk away by accident. They didn't just, oops, I walked away. They walked away on purpose. And you've been sitting here trying to figure out what you could have done better to keep them, what you could have done differently. But the truth is, it was never your job to keep someone who didn't want to stay. It was never your job to keep someone who didn't want to be kept. They knew what they had. They just didn't want it bad enough. And I know it hurts, but it's better than lying to yourself, my friend. And it's time to stop lying to yourself. You weren't too much. Stop telling yourself that. You believe that from that person? You weren't too clingy. You weren't too intense. You were loyal. You were everything you were supposed to be. You were honest. You were all in. They just didn't care enough to match that. So stop waiting for closure. Stop stalking their page because I know you are. Stop wondering if they miss you. Stop checking up on them. Why? It doesn't matter. It's done. You're here. You're breathing. You're healing. Hopefully, you're about to move on because it's time to move on. The truth is, they made their decision. They made their choice. No matter how much it hurts, they made it. You got a choice. You can keep giving energy to someone who left, or you can make the choice today and say, you know what? I'm going to give that energy to someone who deserves it, which is myself. Let me show you why this wasn't rejection, because it wasn't. This wasn't rejection. This actually was the greatest blessing to your life. It was your protection. They weren't your person. You tried to force them to be. They were your lesson. They were your mirror. They showed you what you were willing to tolerate. They showed you how much of yourself you were willing to lose. Man, you were willing to lose just to keep them around. They showed you that you had some healing to do. And now it's your job to take that lesson and apply it to your life and actually level up your self-worth. Not run back to the pain, not romanticize the memories, not ignore the facts just because you missed the feelings. It's always facts over feelings. That will protect your heart. It will protect your soul. Let's be real. Some people didn't love you. They wanted to use you. Some people want to use you for your kindness, for your money, for your energy, for your connections, for your stability, for your presence. Shall I go on? And once they got what they needed, they were gone. Once they got what they needed, they treated you how they wanted to treat you. And you're here right now trying to make sense of it, wondering how can someone be so cold after you gave them your all? But let me say this. People don't leave because you were bad to them. You know why they leave? They leave because they never planned to stay in the first place. That's the truth. You just made it too easy to be comfortable. You let them stay too long. You let them take advantage of your forgiveness. You overlooked too much. You explained away their behavior while ignoring how it was breaking you. And now you're grieving a version of them that never really existed in the first place, if you think about it. You're grieving the story that you told yourself, the relationship that you made up in your mind, not the truth, not the consistency, not the real that they showed you. You need to stop replaying that false relationship in your mind, that false friendship in your mind. You're only remembering the highlights, the very few, but you're forgetting the way it made you feel, the way they made you feel at 2 a.m. when you cried yourself to sleep, the way it brought anxiety to your life. You're forgetting that, the overthinking, the stress, the confusion, the heartbreak, the lack of peace. And you took all of that and you still called it love to make excuses for them. But if we're honest, it was survival. It was attachment. It was fear. You were afraid to be alone like so many people are, so you chose to stay in something that made you feel alone anyway. Afraid to start over, afraid no one ever see you the way that they did. But the question is, did they even really see you? No, they didn't. They saw what they can get from you. They saw what you were willing to give without asking for much back. They saw your heart and they decided to use it and not protect it. So now it's your turn to protect yourself, to stop waiting for someone to make things right that they already made the choice to leave behind. Stop chasing, stop begging. Stop giving access to people who only show up when it's convenient for them. To stop hoping they'll change when they've already showed you who they are. It's time to stop ignoring that reality. You need to stop expecting loyalty from someone who's never showed you that they have loyalty in their body anyway. No bone of loyalty, and you're expecting loyalty from that person. You need to stop expecting closure from someone who ran from the truth. You need to stop expecting peace from the same place that broke your heart. You need to stop expecting the hands that broke your heart to repair your heart. That's the truth. Now, here's the other truth. They did you a favor. They were your biggest blessing, because now you don't have to question it anymore. Now you know what's real. Now you don't have to question how they feel. You know what's real. Now you don't have to beg for clarity, because you know what's real. Now you don't have to keep holding on to something or someone that's already let go of you, because you know what's real. Listen, sometimes it's not about who they were. It's about who they never could be. They couldn't be consistent. They couldn't be honest. They couldn't be faithful. They couldn't be emotionally available. And maybe you thought that you can fix that, right? But that was never your job. You weren't sent to heal them, even though you tried. You were sent to heal you. And now it's your time. It's your time to stop playing small. It's your time to stop shrinking yourself just to be accepted, to stop losing yourself just to please other people. It's your time to stop proving your worth to people who clearly don't value it or see it. You don't need them to come back and say sorry. You don't need them to tell you that they regret it, because they probably will once they see you grow without them. You don't need them to realize what they lost. What you need is to realize what you still have, which is you. You still have your heart. You still have your future. You still have your values. You still have your standards. You still have your peace. And if you're willing to choose it, like for real, this can be the moment that changed your life forever. So let this be your wake-up call. They left, but you're still here. They gave up, but you still have fight left. They moved on, and now it's your turn. This isn't your ending. This is your becoming. So wipe the tears, lift your head, and remind yourself, they may have walked away, but you're walking into something better. And one day, you'll thank them, not because of the pain, but because their absence gave you the space to grow into someone who no longer begs to be chosen. You choose you now. And that, my friend, that's the blessing. You deserve your best life. And you have to realize that person, that friend, whatever it was, wasn't capable of giving it to you. You made too many excuses for them for too long. Now it's time for you to walk into your truth and get the life that you deserve. Your future has your best life. Your future has better. Your future has your closure. So move on to the you that you deserve to be. But like I always tell you, my friend, it all starts with you. I love you too much to keep you the same, because I know there's a you inside of you that's better than what you're accepting right now. Give tomorrow a chance until tomorrow changes your life, because tomorrow has your growth, it has your healing, but it starts with a choice right now in this moment to move on to what you deserve. Share this with somebody. Like this, and make sure you watch the next video. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for taking ownership over your life. It's rehab time. Let's get it.